Hi, my name's Juliette, and I've previously reacted to Band of Brothers and The Pacific on this channel, and so my subscribers have recommended Generation Kill. I'm kind of more nervous about starting this show in particular because I feel like Band of Brothers and The Pacific, the morality, well, let's face it, the war is kind of easier to root for, whereas in this one, not so much. And also, I don't know whether, as a result of that, the show will be kind of more jingoistic, you know, like kind of rah-rah America, which is but you know, you never know, so I'll check it out and see. The only thing I know about the show, obviously, is that it's about Iraq, and that Alexander... Oh, my cat, 1 second. Come on, baby. Oh. Stay there. Stay there. Stay. I hope that hasn't messed up all my settings. Stay there, tea leaf. Stay. Cats, why don't you follow orders? She wants to sit with me. Okay. Sit. Okay, so one thing I want to address is a kind of theme that I've noticed in the comments I receive on my channel. You know, I'm not bothered, like, I expect comments of all colours, you know, it's the internet. But my audience, you know, I can see from the analytics, the majority men, which, you know, I can expect from the shows that I cover, and also majority 25 and older or much older. And I feel like there's a theme of, Juliette, like, I'm so glad that you're covering the show, like, I appreciate that you're one of the good ones, but your generation ain't shit. I just feel like there's a kind of lack of nuance in that opinion. I mean, I imagine I'm kind of politically and culturally quite different from the majority of you. I'm a British, bisexual, left-leaning pacifist, and yet I can watch these shows, I can empathise with the characters. I might disagree with some stuff politically, but it doesn't mean that I have to discount these people or these characters or these historical events. I don't know, I just feel like there is a kind of level of rose-tintedness to the way that people view the past and previous generations, when life then was not necessarily better for everyone. It wouldn't necessarily have been better for me. It wouldn't necessarily have been better for people different races. It wouldn't have been better for the poor young boys that were being sent to war and to experience, you know, horrendous violence and grief and loss. I feel like sometimes I see older people sort of wishing that would happen now, that the young people of today would experience that kind of call to duty, but then, you know, then they would see what real men are, what real men had to deal with. But I don't feel like that's something that we should wish upon anyone. You know, I'm sure the men themselves wouldn't wish their grandsons to go into war and experience the same tragedies they did. I feel like we should be glad that we're living in a more peaceful time, that the youth of today can concentrate on other areas of life and not have to think about what boys then had to do. But, you know, I can absolutely understand why the stiff upper lip, duty-bound men of the past are admired by certain people. I admire them too. I just think that it would be completely unfair for me to characterise some of my viewers as, you know, boring boomers, and I hope that you would understand that it would be silly to characterise millennials as a single thing, you know? Okay, oh yeah, and the other thing I meant to mention, so I know that this show is about Iraq, and I know that it has Alexander Skarsgard in it, and the only reason why I know that is because I remember years ago when the TV show Flash Forward was airing in the UK, I remember there was an advert for Generation Kill, and I saw a man in the trailer, and I was like, he's a quite striking looking man, and then I later discovered that he was called Alexander Skarsgard, and then obviously he was in everything after that. Okay, let's go. Messages. Excuse me.
Oscar Charlie, countdown.
2-1, enemy contact, 1450.
This is a whole different terrain again, isn't it? You know, from Band of Brothers and the fields,
4 o'clock, 3 enemies west.
and then the Pacific, the jungles, and now the desert. And a whole different set of weapons. Whoa. Did they use practical effects? Surely they didn't literally like bomb things. It looked good.
This is Hitman 2. We have suppressed a Zill 6x.
This shot. Ugh, it's so difficult to work out what's happening with the shaky cam.
Stop the vehicle!
Realistic though.
Let's do a little after action on this.
I recognise him, but I don't know what's wrong.
What's a disabled vehicle? The nearest element could stop and evaluate the Marines, while other elements push through and provide support by fire.
How many graves we standing on? Think about all the wisdom and science. And the love, and the wives and children.
How long is this way?
And all that hate, dog. It's destiny, dog. White man's gotta rule the world.
Ouch.
Hitman 2.
It's funny, like him saying that, the kind of, I guess, conflict. The divided allegiances, maybe. Wow, what a moustache to wear.
Hey man, you seen Preston?
Over there, bro.
What are these mad moustaches? Is it like a dare?
Lieutenant, have you gotten any word? I only get what's passed on to me from Godfather, and the only word he gets is from the BBC. Inspector's in,
Does
we can
that
go
stand
home.
for something different, or is he talking about the
Important thing is we're
BBC?
doing our jobs.
You know anything about J-Lo being killed?
Ray, the battalion commander, offered no sit rep as to J-Lo's status.
God, what I'm like mad experience of kind of discovering that people you know or friends have died and you can't even get information about what happened. Like,
Since when did the Marine Corps start letting in facts?
so there's a whole kind of, well, there was a whole don't ask, don't tell thing in the US Army, right?
Now that is some shit you can sell right there. Bro. Gay porn. Gay porn, Lily. Yo, all you gotta do is get Rudy on board, and you're gonna be the next Spielberg of twink movies. Yeah.
He's not a twink. Is this just training? Jesus, intense.
I love you, Fruity Rudy!
Today's highs again in
Everyone's
the
a fan.
upper 30s.
And ongoing preparations to enhance our readiness here in Kuwait.
Is that his actual voice?
Even the gaskets are gone, man. And back home, they're driving around in Mercedes-Benz SUVs, picking up the poodles at the dog cappuccino stand. And here we are, invading a country with ghetto booties.
That is mad.
The fuck is your shirt out of regulation?
Sorry, Major, is there a problem? My Marines have been working on that Humvee all morning.
I don't care. If your Marine has a sucking chest wound, he will not traipse around on the deck with his shirt tails hanging out.
Oofed.
Your mustache hairs is in violations. Going beyond the corner.
He is so mad.
Police at Rooster!
Did he say beyond the corners? Is that why some of them have like Hitler moustaches? I imagine being so mad over. I understand that there's like got to be a tight level of fastidiousness, but leaning over, you know, your vehicle and obviously your shirt's gonna come out like whew, but I guess like he feels like he needs to establish his authority and maybe he's like resentful of these young'uns. He's part of the old guard.
I am glad that you are so brave, and I pray for you.
Oh, what she look like?
She's actually pretty hot.
Whoa.
Well, I can breathe.
Oh, let me see, man. Hey, listen to this shit right here.
Where the fuck is this weak-ass child from?
Spencer.
And although peace probably appeals to tree-loving bisexuals like you and your parents,
He's talking about
happen
me.
to be...
So this seems to be so far a lot about the kind of internal politics between the different. I don't know the words. The different. Okay, so is that the BBC then?
I think that's enough.
You should be rocking it like me, Pappy.
It's amazing shit. Seeing this and seeing a whole new landscape that can be hell. Okay, so was he called Brad? He seems to be kind of good at surveying the situation and coming up with solutions, but he isn't like in charge, he isn't the boss. So I guess he's one whose trajectory will be good to look out for. I guess he is kind of the boss though, isn't he? Because he told the other guy that he needs to tuck his shirt in. I really need to understand the hierarchy of Marines. And there's like captains and lieutenants. Lieutenants.
He's from Rolling Stone, so be gentle.
Rolling Stone?
Rolling Stone?
People that read Rolling Stone, how it fucking feels to be in a war.
Could be worse. I used to write for Hustler.
You wrote for Hustler?
There are words in Hustler?
See, Wiggers be the worst. Come on, race traders, sedgenating with the muds.
Hey.
Wow.
And all your little crackhead baby brothers nappy-headed and shit? James is the only white boy in the family. 3 stepdads, and they're all black.
She still thinks she's better than the brother she sells that ass to in the parking lot of the titty bar she works at.
Oh! Get his notepad out. It's funny just to see, like, they all have a common enemy, yet a lot of them don't really like each other.
You mocking me?
Wow, this guy.
You are unsightly.
He's so good at playing, like, a guy that's, like, really seething inside.
Sergeant Major Six's job is to be an asshole. And he excels at the position.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Stove underneath Rudy's espresso pot went off like a 40 mic.
Playing white boy's face like a rotisserie chicken.
Let me understand this. My RTO has just been burned in his tent by an exploding portable stove. And without my RTO, I will be going to war, unable to quickly and effectively establish radio communications within our unit, with other elements of the battalion, and with close air support.
Yikes.
Over an espresso maker. This platoon is going down over an espresso maker.
And the men operating this cook stove were outside the tent when this happened?
Yes, sir. At the time, Corporal Person was kneeling by the entrance, servicing a 148.
Covering for them.
You might want to consider writing up some of these men for commendation.
I will consider that, sir.
Subway. Is this some product placement or...
They won't sell this stuff in quantity to actual military personnel. For civilians like yourself, sky's the limit.
Clever.
And why is that?
To keep us angry. If Marines could get what they need when they needed it, we would be happy, and we wouldn't be ready to kill people all the time.
Is that kind of legitimate reasoning? It's funny that this is a kind of continuing theme from all the shows that I've watched. All the soldiers are kind of undersupplied and underfunded, undercared for.
You guys need the diapers.
I would like the answer to that. Is it because there's just a lot of driving and no chance to go to the toilet? Is that another?
Unfucking believable.
Product placement? Oh. It's funny that like companies can get the PR from supplying the troops, but like their own government can't even give them the things they need. You know, I'm sure they'd swap some pizzas for better vehicles. And they've got to pay for it.
Corps doesn't just bring pizza pies all the way from Kuwait City for no reason.
We got lobster in it.
Are they trying to soften the blow for something?
Sir, is there a reason we got pizza delivered today?
The whole ale to the Euphrates. I was gonna bring it up in our briefing tomorrow. Oh. Godfather says General Mattis issued the warning order. So be prepared to move the staging area within the next 48 hours.
Nice of him to fucking mention it.
I'm sure pizza's going to be the last supper for some of these people. Ah.
Woodland camouflage? Anyone happen to remember we're invading a fucking desert country?
What?
Exactly. What the fuck, man?
Can't fight that shit. I hate these fucking things.
What gives? They left nuts to be where you are.
I'm just smiling. Do they find that kind of thing motivating?